Today, about 42% of working age adults here in Hawaii have a 2- or 4-year college degree. That's what the US Census says. On this island, it's about 36%. Hawaii's educational leaders have set a goal of having 55% of working age adults holding a 2- or 4-year degree by the year 2025. And starting with Mr. Iona, a 2-minute question, what is it going to take to make that happen? And particularly, how will that happen here on Hawaii Island?
If I can just add to that statistic, I think in 2018, about 65% of the workforce is going to be required to have a degree that's much more than a high school degree. So in other words, an associate degree and or higher. And so that time frame comes down from the 2020 time period. And so it's, for us, the platform is simple. It starts with our public education system and how it's being run and structured and governed right now. So we have basically 3 things we want to do right off the bat. First and foremost, we will conduct an independent financial and management audit of the Department of Education. We need to see where the inefficiencies are in regards to our finances and in regards to management. From that, we know what we can do. Now, it's going to take some time. It's going to take an investment, but I believe it's worth it. Because what we need to do, and we know it's not working right now, is we need to change the governance structure of our Department of Education. A recent survey showed that many of our principals cower with fear because of the top-down management style or administration style of the current DOE. And that has to change. And so I will adopt a platform that has been put forth now by an independent think tank that just started here in Hawaii. In fact, they're out on a field trip observation to, I believe it's LA, San Francisco, and Vancouver, and it's called School Empowerment. The details are not worked out, but it's a very simple structure. It's a restructuring so that we give the principals, the teachers, the parents, and the community the ability to develop their own curriculum, their ability to administer the finances they have in their schools, and of course, to provide a curriculum that's best suited for their students. And the reason for that is so that their students can be able to ready and they'll be willing to thrive in this 21st century, this knowledge-based economy. And last but not least, something called the Early College Program, which will give our students an AA degree and high school diploma upon their graduation.
Thank you. Mr. Hanneman.
You know, my wife was a founding member of P20 that set that ambitious goal of 55-25, that 55% of our adults by the year 2025 will either have a 2- or 4-year degree. That's why I was at University of Hawaii Hilo today. I spent a lot of time in the college campuses trying to learn from the students, faculty, administrators of what's going on. We need to set high goals. We need a leader and a governor that's going to understand the importance of education. As I said earlier, the #1 responsibility of a governor is education. So if the legislature is going to make cuts to the budget, that governor has to be proactive in sending that budget down. Because if it's all about making sure that our students want to go to college and get an advanced degree, the funding will be there. One of the big worries today at University of Hawaii Hilo was that the cost of tuition continues to rise, and they're concerned about that. So it's important that a governor recognize that. If cuts are going to be made, they are wise cuts, as opposed to cuts to hit a certain mark because you want to cut the budget by $800 million. The second thing is you need a governor that's going to grow this economy so that we will have money for education. So we're not looking as an option to raise your taxes, as the legislature often does in a proposal to raise the GET by 25%. We don't have to do it that way. Grow tourism, grow agriculture, work with the private sector, do public-private partnerships. And how about if a governor, they can go out in the Pacific Asian region and call upon those contacts and relationships that he has made through the years. Today, I'm a professional consultant in that part of the world. I want to ask them, many of whom who have a stake in Hawaii, many of them who have been educated here, come and help the University of Hawaii Hilo, help the Hawaii Community College. We have a special niche opportunity, especially in the fact that we do draw students from the Pacific region. Why not go and say, let's do it the Pacific way? You help us, we help you. That's what we need. Leadership now more than ever, a governor who embraces education and can promote education in a strong way.
Thank you. Senator Ige.
Thank you. I believe it starts with making strategic investments in infrastructure. I was proud to be able to support the construction of the Hawaiian college campus up at UH Hilo because it really becomes the center for training educators and those interested in perpetuation of the Hawaiian language to have a home and a place to focus. And it really provides the opportunity at all the full range of educational opportunities, from training teachers to getting into assessments and to planning curriculum about what that language would look like. You know, I've made and supported investment in the Palama Nui facility over on the west side because I do understand when students are attending classes in the middle of a shopping center, it just doesn't seem like a college campus. So those investments are very important. And I do know the location of Hawaii Community College is a big issue here. We've funded various planning studies so we can move forward and find a way so that that campus can expand to meet the future needs of your community. It has to happen on a couple different levels. I can't wait until the Palama Nui campus is open because it is envisioned as an education center, a portal or gateway for those living on the west side to the full range of opportunities that the University of Hawaii system, all campuses all across the state, can provide for our communities. It really is talking about 21st century education, not limiting what the options are by the physical location and the courses that may be offered there, but really dreaming about what the 21st century education looks like, and so any student can get access to any program anywhere.
Thank you. I'm going to jump back to K through 12 education, which is clearly the basis for our educational system here in the state. And I'm going to start with you, Senator Ige. You have stated in several candidate forums that you feel the best path forward for K through 12 education system is empowering schools, giving those closest to the children resources and authority to make a difference. Could you be specific as to what you really mean and what the implications would be for Hawaii Island? 2 minutes.
Absolutely. I believe and have witnessed myself that having the leader at a campus, at a school, really makes tremendous difference. I've had a school in my district that have been underperforming for a decade. And with the change in the right leader, the school went from being below average or near the bottom for middle schools to the highest performing middle school in the state in 2 years' time. I truly understand what difference leadership at the campus makes. So, you know, it's really holding the Board of Education and the superintendent accountable for walking the talk. They talk about empowerment, but their actions don't demonstrate it. They talk about empowering principals, but they dictate what curriculum, how the money should be spent, what books should be purchased. They believe that one size fits all. I think that that's absolutely crazy. Every school is different, every community is different. So it talks about aligning the policies and procedures in the department with the words that are spoken. Empower schools, deliver resources to the school level, let the community and the leaders at the school take the resources and make the most important decisions about how the children should learn. And how we can support them better. You know, education really is about the interaction between teacher and student in the classroom. You know, I do have a 52-year relationship with the public school system, and I've seen it. I benefited from many inspiring teachers who taught me to dream big and pursue those dreams. I believe that it comes from giving those closest to the children the authority and resources to do what's best for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hanneman, your campaign website also speaks to decentralizing decision-making authority to principals and teachers. So please be specific as to what you mean and how it would work here on Hawaii Island. 2 minutes.
Every year for the past 20 years, I go to 40 to 45 public schools throughout the state. I give out scholarships, I give out book awards, I read to them. I even take an all-girls high school basketball team to the mainland, always consisting of Big Island female basketball players because they do so well. But here's the bottom line. I believe that if you empower our area complexes, our principals, our teachers, and let them come up with a creative way to develop curriculums that will engage our students, that's the way to go. On Oahu, there's this principal named Keith Hayashi at Waipahu High School. He has turned that school around despite some of the barriers that exist with the current system. In that particular school, they do college pathways, they do early college, where they have a synergism with Leeward Community College. There's another school, Kaimuki High School, that was experiencing declining enrollment. And what he did too, he did college pathways, and they have an early college program with Kapiolani Community College. At the end of the day, they need to know that a governor has their back. They need to know that in differences they may have with the Department of Education or the Board of Education, the governor will be able to sit down and have a talk story session with them. I have great concerns with the Common Core curriculum. I believe in standards, but sometimes they foist upon our educators too much paperwork where they're spending filling out forms as opposed to being in the classroom engaged with the students. I disagree with the Pono choices aspect of Common Core. So this is why we have to have that flexibility. What works for New York or California may not work for Hawaii. What works for Kaimuki may not work for Hilo, Waiakea, or Konawaina. And having that flexibility, making sure they know you have to decentralize decision making, I believe at the end of the day will create a better learning environment where the kids are going to want to come to school, the teachers are going to want to teach, and the principals are going to be proud to stand with them and give them their high school diploma.
Thank you. Mr. Iona, your opponents have talked about decentralizing decision making as one way to make K through 12 better. What is your plan? 2 minutes.
You know, I had the blessing of being a substitute teacher for the past 2 years in my community. It was elementary school in Kapolei Elementary and Holomua Elementary. There's 2 takeaways from that. First and foremost, I note that teachers need time to teach. Very simple. Second, we need more parental involvement. Those 2 things alone, I can guarantee you student achievement will go out the roof. More importantly, I think that will inspire them to do what they need to do educationally. Now, I had the opportunity to be up here not too long ago, and I visited with Punana Leo and Nava'i. It's, I guess you could say it's feeder charter school. Charter schools are the prime example of what I talked about earlier about school empowerment, giving them the ability to be flexible with their curriculum and their administration. And what's the beauty of Punana Leo? And I hope this can be modeled throughout the state of Hawaii. Parental involvement. Starting at that very early age, parents are involved with the education of their children. And they carry that forward to the charter school. And so what you see is active engagement. You see students, as it was mentioned by Mufi, wanting to come to school. Teachers wanting to come to school. So that model in and of itself says it all. We have also stumbled upon, I guess you could say, a program called Early College. It's similar but not the same as the early college programs that we have now in our public school system. Unlike those, this is not about earning college credits or taking college courses or inspiring you to be college students. It's about actually getting an AA degree. And the beauty of it all is that the businesses will be a part of it. The businesses will be the mentors and provide the pathway to employment for our students. These are the kinds of innovations, these are the kinds of specific programs we need to inspire our students to be college ready and to be college graduates.
Thank you. When you talk about decentralizing, Senator Ige, are you talking about having local school boards with a school board here on Hawaii Island? 30 seconds.
No, it really is about ensuring that the regulations and the dictates from the board really follows the talk. It's stopping to ordering what books should be purchase or when they should purchase computers. It really is about delivering the money to the school and letting them decide when it would be appropriate and what's appropriate to be purchased. It's really a matter of ensuring that the board walks the talk.
I think as the only one that has executive experience in working with a multi-department and the like, I'd like to try it with what we have now. They'll know that there's a new sheriff in town. They know that he's going to require the Board of Education to adhere to this policy that the governor would like to see, to empower decentralization decision-making process. And I believe I'd like to try that out before we say we're going to have a local school board. I really believe there are dedicated DOE personnel, there are dedicated Board of Education members, but if a whole new philosophy is set, and a whole new goal of objectives to make sure that we
Thank
don't
you.
just talk about
Thank
it
you.
and make it happen.
Mr. Iona, local school boards?
That would be optimal, but that's not the structure that I have envisioned. You would still have the school board at the top, but their role would change dramatically. Right now, it comes from the top down. The administration, the direction, you have principals that are saying they feel like compliance officers. All they're doing is checking off. This will move the authority making, the direction, and the curriculum making all to the schools, empowering the principals, the students, and the teachers.
Thank you. The previous Republican administration and the state legislature made a decision to save money by having children go to school 4 days a week by instituting what was called Furlough Fridays. There were many ramifications, obviously, to that decision. Would you again consider cutting down the school day or week for budget balancing? 30 seconds only.
Absolutely not. That was something also that I need to refresh everyone's memory, was a decision that was made between the employer and the employees. But I would definitely not institute that. Again, if it came to that point where the budget had fallen out, I mean, I should say the economy had fallen out like it had in 2007, and a decision such as that has to be made. But remember, it was a agreed upon decision, and unfortunately, it came down to that.
Senator Ige, would cutting the school day or week be an option for you?
Absolutely not. I would like to remind the voters that that was a unilateral decision made by the employer and the employees to really take away classroom time. You know, our children are so precious. You never get that opportunity to get those days back. And clearly it would never happen.
Mr. Hanneman, would that be an option for you?
I am the only one here that's had to do collective bargaining and deal with unions. That would be something I would say would be off the table. I would have never instituted or agreed to Furlough Fridays. I've said the top responsibility of the governor is education. Our kids need to be in school. Our kids need to be taught as opposed to being short shrift because of Furlough Friday decision that was made by the previous administration.
Thank you.